Good evening, this is Tom, KB4HQA, and this is the HQARadio Sunday Live Show for August 5th, 2012. I'd like to thank everybody checking in so far and watching, and especially like to thank everybody that checked in and downloaded last week's show. It was a really good one. So tonight we're going to talk a little bit about a lot of stuff. We did a review, on the Waxon handy talkie, the 2-meter 220 or 2-meter 440 HT that came out last year. Inexpensive, We've got some input from some people and some things I've seen on the web, and I'm going to give you my, overview of it since I've had it over a year. I bought it last year at Dayton, not the one that just came by. So we're going to go over that. We're going to talk about Kickstarters. If you're on the internet, you may know what a Kickstarter project is. If you're a ham operator and you're not sure what one is, we're going to explain it to you. Because on HQARadio.com, there's a couple stories in the news section about a couple Kickstarters for amateur radio projects. So we're going to breeze over one, and we're going to show another one that you may be interested in doing or giving to or whatever you want to do. So let's see here. And also we're going to just have a quick brief overview about Huntsville coming up in the next couple weeks. But well, let's start with the Waxon. The Waxon is a Chinese-made HT, $99 to $115 street price. I've had it a year. I bought it at Dayton last year, not this year, last year. And I ran it through the mill the first 2 weeks before I did a review on it. I dropped it from 8 feet. The battery pack popped off. I put it back together, stuck it on the radio. It worked. I've had mine over a year now, and I use it once a week maybe in the morning. I'll get on. When it's cooler, I used it more. In the fall, I'll use it more because I like to sit out on my deck, have a cup of coffee, and have the radio on and talk, on the local repeaters. So it's average use, maybe minimal average use that I use this radio. And I've had no problem with it. I cannot find any fault with it. Now, there are people that are saying a couple different things, and I've read it, plus I've talked to a couple people, that when you drop these things more than once, you lose contact on either the speaker or the microphone. So if you got the radio and you're talking in the radio but you've got no audio, try switching to a hand mic, and that'll usually fix the problem because the audio will go through the hand mic. Or vice versa. You have no audio coming out of the speaker and you plug your hand mic in, and now all of a sudden you hear audio. What exactly is doing this? If it's a bad solder joint, if it's a ribbon cable, I don't know. I have not taken this radio apart. But because I've never had the problem with mine. So if you do run into these problems and it's still under the 1 year, I would definitely take it back to where you got it and see if they could be repaired or whatever. Now, the other thing about the Waxon is I've also seen some articles about the new dual band mobile that they're coming out with. And they're pricing this thing. They want vendors in the U.S. to sell this thing as much as a regular ICOM or Kenwood or Yaesu dual bander. I don't see anything going with that. I do not see a reason for that other than having to make extra money. I don't see it being a better product or even equal as, say, some of these other ones. So, if it was a lot lower and the price point was lower, yeah, it would be better, especially if you're a new ham or a younger ham and you really don't have the money to spend, but you want to get on the air, they work fine enough. If you've got the extra money, put it away, get yourself, a Yaesu, an ICOM, a Kenwood, an Alinco, whatever, and get yourself your 2-meter 440, whichever one you prefer. look for something that's either, if it's an HT, look for something that's water resistant or waterproof. If it's a mobile, if you need something rugged, look for something that has mil spec capability, meaning it's a rating for military spec for dust, heat, and all that stuff, protection. A lot of the ICOM radios do have that. Probably the best one that I've seen for that is the ICOM V8000. High watt radio, 75 watt, 2 meter mobile, front facing speaker, mil spec. Great radio. Great radio. A little bit more money for just a 2 meter mobile, but you get what you pay for. So that's about it for the Waxon. We're just going to go over that a little bit. Now, the main part of the show is I just want to bring up one thing real quick before we get into the main part, which is the Kickstarter. Tonight, Sunday the 5th, 6th, whatever, the Mars lander, Curiosity. Will it land? Will it make a divot in Mars? We don't know. You could watch it either from the NASA feed on their website, or you could watch it on the NASA channel on your Roku box or your Xbox or whatever. Or you could do like I'm going to do, and you can go to twit.tv. If you don't know what twit.tv is, twit.tv is a internet type broadcasting TV show, basically technical based. They have Ham Nation, they have MacBreak Weekly, This Week in Tech, but Tom Merritt from TNT and Dr. Kiki from the Science Hour are going to be they're going to be showing, simulcasting the landing tonight, and that starts at 10:30 Pacific time. And they're going to be simulcasting that. So if you go to live.twit.tv, you'll be able to see their coverage of this. Now, if you want to see any of the other shows like Ham Nation with Bob Heil or anything, twit.tv, and then go to the show tab, and then you can scroll through all the different shows that they do. They do a lot of different shows. But the Mars landing is tonight. And like I said, you could also go to the NASA channel and watch it on there also. Now, Kickstarters. If you've ever been to HQARadio.com, you're going to notice a couple articles in the regular news feed and in the general news feed that talk about two different Kickstarter projects. Now, a Kickstarter project, I'm going to use this first one to describe what a Kickstarter project is. Now, Kickstarter project is basically, it's a website, and you could start your own Kickstarter project. You set a date, a time, how many days it takes that you want to take donations toward a project or business or product that you're making, and you want to get backing for it to start it. Now, this one here is done by this project is done by a ham named Michael Doombus. I hope I'm saying that right. But it's basically an Arduino type board with a transmitter. And basically, if you look at the site, off to the top right there, it says how many backers. Right now, so far, he's got 23, and he's raised $1,925. And he's trying to get a pledged amount of $35,000 to start this company. And he's got 25 days to go. Now you click on back the project, and you go to a screen where you can put in the amount you want to back. Now down on the right hand side, it gives you an idea of what, if you pledge so much, like $5 you get this, $12 you get this, $20 or more you get this. And on the left-hand side here, underneath the picture, is a description. Now, the description basically tells you what the project is and what they're going to do. It also has a video. Obviously, you can see that big play button right in the middle of the screen. You click on that, and there's a video accompanying it describing what the Kickstarter project is. Now, there's other Kickstarter projects. There's tons of them out there. There's new watches. There's people that are making computer interface devices, different types of mounts for cameras. I mean, it's a ton of things that it's a neat idea. And instead of having to go to a company and maybe not getting all the royalties, or they buy the idea off you and they make all the money, you start your own project by getting these backers, and you're promising the backers basically something for helping back you. Now, this was one that I definitely wanted to show by Michael, but the main one I wanted to show you is this one right here. This is being done by the West Palm Beach Amateur Radio Group. The gentleman from this sent me an email before I even noticed this on QRZ. And what they're doing is there's a museum in West Palm Beach, and they've got a room. They painted it, put some radio equipment in there. They're using some old equipment. As a matter of fact, I think they're using either, I don't know if it was a 530 or an 830 Kenwood. It's an older hybrid radio, but they've got an antenna, a dipole up on the roof, and they get in there, and they're kind of near power lines, so they're fighting a little bit, but they've got the museum in there, and they get kids to come in and try to make contacts, or anybody can come by and see the museum. And they're also trying to do this Kickstarter project to help finance, keeping the museum going, getting better equipment in there, training for, doing classes and stuff for kids that like to do that. But if you go here, obviously this video, this little girl was, as you can see, was pretty excited to make a contact to somebody. The whole video shows it now. So far, they've got 24 days left. They've only got $251, and they've got 4 backers. And they're only shooting for a goal of $15,000. A lot of times these things, depending on what it is, if it's a great idea, a lot of people will jump into it and back it right away. And within 10 to 12 days, they'll already be over their pledged goal. This one here is new, it looks like, and they're just starting out. I'm in no way telling you to go back this. I don't, I'm not being a proponent of this, but a lot of this is for good things. And if you want to go there and at least look at it and get an idea of the video and look at the things, if you go to QRZ right now and you go to down the news stories, you'll see, let's see here, where is it? The bottom story on QRZ right now, as of today, under the general news tab, under the regular news, is Lasting Moments of First Excitement is the name of it. And that's the one Kickstarter project with the West Palm Beach. If you go to news and go to general announcements and click on that and go to that page with those general announcements, you will see let me see which story it is. About the 6th one down, it says ham radio enabled exploration platform launches on Kickstarter. So if you go to those two, the links are there, and just go to QRZ.com. Check it out, look it over. If you want to shoot them a couple bucks, great. If not, you don't have to. I mean, it's not that it's nothing. It's not something if you want to do, but if you have it in your mind to do it and help out, check it out and take a look at it. But yeah, the Kickstarter projects, say for example, you have an idea for a new type of antenna, or you've got you write a piece of software, or you think, I know I could write this piece of software, but I need to hire a coder that'll do it the way I want it to because I really don't know programming. And you need to say, well, it's going to cost me this much to do this much to get it packaged and ready to be started and shipped out. You can go to the Kickstarter website and set up your own Kickstarter, put down all the information on there and set it up, and see if anybody looks at it and says if they want to wants to start and help out with your Kickstarter project. So that's something to look into in case you may have something that you want to share with the ham radio community, or you've got something that you just don't have the money to back it. Or I've seen people that do podcasts to get new equipment and start a new podcast about anything, like just not ham radio, about cooking or vacationing or whatever. You could start a Kickstarter project, get the money, and what you do is you promise them, for a certain amount of money, you promise them if you're making a CD with the software on it for ham radio, you're writing a piece of software for a digital mode or something, or a logging program. Anybody that gives a certain amount, they get a mouse pad. Anything after that, they get a coffee cup with your logo on it. Or if they pledge this much, you give them a copy of the software or whatever, but that can be done. Let me see what else, but that's about it for Kickstarters. Kickstarters are, they're getting real popular, especially with a product that, that they know it's something that people would want and need, but there's not a lot of interest in the, manufacturing end of it on other companies. Like, you may go to a company and say, yeah, I got this idea for this watch, and it's been done already. We don't think it's going to be that good. You still want to do it? You could do it on your own, get the Kickstarter, and basically people back your project if you promise them, something out of the backing. So. But let me see, what else were we going to talk about? I wanted to go over Huntsville real quick. Huntsville Hamfest coming up August 18th and 19th. If you're in the Southeast and you got a chance to go to this, definitely do it. Definitely do it. Just to get around, it's all indoors. And it's a really good ham fest. Last time I checked, there were still some hotel rooms at the Holiday Inn and the Embassy Suites. No, Holiday Inn and the there was another hotel there, not the one right next to the Bron Center. There's another one there. I forgot it. I'm sorry, but there's still some hotel rooms available. If you live close enough to just drive there the one day and leave Saturday, great, do that. But yeah, that's coming up. I'll be there. Like that means anything. But there's going to be a lot of people there, a lot of good forums. D-Star, ARRL, Kay Craigie will be there talking. Bob Heil will be there hanging out at the Gigaparts booth. If you don't get a chance to go, at least check out W5KUB's stream. Tom is going to be there with his camera streaming the whole event live. So if you go to W5, I can't even remember, W5KUB.com, and you can log into the chat room, and they give away prizes and stuff to the people in the chat room that are watching the live feed. So check that out. All right, let's see. Let's see who's in the chat room tonight. We've got Dan out in California, A6RV. KC2ZFO still in there, up in Orange County. KD0FEG is in Kansas. He's still in here. KF7ECH is in there. Thanks for stopping in. W0RDE is in there. And W9WTF. Mr. Bob is in there, so that's great to see everybody in there in the chat room. And earlier we had a lot of questions before the show, during the pre-show, and a lot of them were about most of them were about antennas, and especially stealth antennas for apartments and stuff like that. We did have a show at the beginning of the year that we touched on that a little bit, and we've had other shows on antennas, like we've touched on regular dipole antennas, how to build them, balance, antenna maintenance. I had George Thomas on to help me out with that show about antenna maintenance. I did a show on just vertical antennas, so if you go back and look at some of the previous Sunday live shows, you'll see those. But it looks like we're going to do, after Huntsville, we're going to probably put together a show about stealth antennas, for an apartment and everything. We'll look into that, and we'll do a really good demonstration of some of them, especially for people that have, restrictions, or they live in an apartment and they really can't put up a big antenna. So we'll be going over that. Let's see, what was tonight's topic? Tonight's topic was, which we just went over, was Kickstarter projects for pertaining to ham radio. There's a lot of Kickstarter projects out there on the web for products or software or just about anything. And there's a couple that were in the news feeds on QRZ about different Kickstarter projects. And that's basically what we went over. We also got joined by WA1REQ, Michael up in the Northeast. Thanks for checking in, and glad to see you in here tonight. I thought I said Dave. I'm sorry, Dave. I didn't mean Dan. I should have said, I could have swore I said Dave. I got to rewind this later on and see if I said Dan or Dave. If I said Dan, I'm sorry. If you're wondering who we're talking about, we're all talking about Dan, N9LVS, who was in one of the Google Hangouts last night, and anybody following him, his condition, he's doing really well with that little pulmonary embolism he had, and he was touch and go there for a little bit, but he's doing good. So, but yeah, thank God that's working out. But let me see what else. Next weekend we're going to be doing not this Monday, but next Monday. I actually have to go to a ham radio club here in the North Georgia area, the Sawney Mountain Amateur Radio Group, I think. No, there's two of them, and they're both very closely named. I'm going to talk at one of their meetings about podcasting and amateur radio and how we're promoting the hobby here and through other shows and stuff like that. So we're going to take some video of that, and that'll be on a show after Huntsville. Maybe even the weekend of Huntsville when we get back, because we won't have any of the video compressed or anything that we're doing when we're there to have it on Sunday night show, but we'll definitely get it on next week's show about it. So let's see here. Let's go to the chat room and look out and see what's going on here. Wow, that's pretty neat. One of the gentlemen in the chat room, Bob, W9WTF, said his local club, if you go through the technician class and pass the test, they give you free dues for the first year for the club, which is nice. And they're also thinking about maybe giving away a free HT to new hams if they pass the test. So that's a really good incentive. It's a really good incentive. I like to see a lot more clubs doing, well, maybe that's a little bit too much. A lot of people don't have the extra money to put out to spend on HTs, or a lot of these clubs don't have some of the bigger budgets that some of the bigger clubs have. So, that should be, that's a good idea. Like I said, I like to see a lot more people taking into Elmering, maybe going by schools and talking with the Waxon antenna is so cheap, why not? Yeah, we were just talking about the Waxon HT. I would rather see you guys buy a 2-meter only HT, spend a couple more bucks on it, and give that to a ham for their first radio, then go with the Waxon. One, it's a little bit of a pain to program, so they're going to need the cable, they're going to need the software, and there's been a couple reports of problems with them, once they've been dropped, the audio kicking out or the mic kicking out. Like I said, mine works fine to this date. It's over a year old. So, but I mean, that could happen with anyone, but yeah, I mean, if you can do something like the even the Waxon as a giveaway, I mean, it's a decent radio, brand new ham can get on the air and go from there, get a mobile and put it in the house if they want to, or in their car if they're old enough. If it's not a high school kid or, it's college, whatever. And then now the little Bafeng, the $50 radio. I did a little review on that. You get what you pay for. It's a neat little radio, 2 watts. It's a good hamfest radio. It's a good radio if you're close to a repeater. It's a good field day radio to talk from station to station. Just being that it's only 2 watts, it's a little limited on how many repeaters it can get to, but yeah, it's a nice little inexpensive portable radio to get people started on. Yeah, Yaesu, ICOM, Linko, the Kenwood, just the basic 2-meter radios. Anywhere from, I don't know, $139 and up maybe. I haven't checked the pricing on them. I've got an ICOM, just 2-meter only, and it's a mil-spec HT, got excellent audio. It's basically the little brother of the T70, which is the dual band version. Well-built radio. I mean, good audio on it. You could hear it from, through anything. So, and then if you were into Aries and you want to be out in the rain and water, look at some of the Yaesus. Besides being water resistant, there's a couple of them that are waterproof, meaning you could drop it into a puddle of water. Or they rate it at 3 feet, 30 minutes. So anything more than 3 feet, the pressure is going to start getting into the seal and it's going to leak into the radio. Any more than 30 minutes and it's going to get doused enough where it's just going to start soaking in anyway. So at least you got the 3 minutes for 30 seconds. And as a new radio, for somebody that's got a new radio, they don't have to worry about it in the rain. They don't have to worry about dropping it that much. It's a pretty well-built radio. And like I said, let me see here. Let's go back and real quick. Let's see what oh, excuse me. Sorry, I'm yawning there. Let's go back and see what NASA's doing here. Something is not working right here. Give me one moment. I don't like this. Either there's a lot of people on Ustream because Ustream is lagging big time, or else I'd bring it back on. Let's see here. Yeah, there's something not right here. Yeah, I was going to bring the split screen back on with the coverage of the Mars lander, but something is not working right here. It is not working the way it should be. It looks like it's running in slow motion, to be honest with you. But the other thing I wanted to bring up is where you can watch the shows real quick. And then we're going to go ahead and close this out. All the shows are recorded, and they're on they're on something called Blip TV, and they're also on my website. If you want to subscribe to iTunes, go to my website at HQARadio.com. If you just want to watch the shows as they come on each week, which this show will be compressed and up on the website by tomorrow morning, and on Blip TV. Blip TV is a great little service it's free. You watch the videos, you will see a commercial at the beginning, and that's it. You will not see any during the show. But if you scroll down, you've got some thumbnails of the most recent show, and then a featured show. And then if you go all the way down a little further, you'll see thumbnails of all the rest of the shows that I have up. And then obviously there's a thing. This is one of 3 pages. You can click on the shows. There's a listing of each show, what it does underneath. And if you click on the show, it'll go to it and play it. Now, you could also go to my website at, let's go there real quick. HQARadio.com. Scroll down to where it says HQA Radio Sunday Live Show. Click on that, and you'll see all the different shows that have been recorded since the beginning of the year. So if you scroll the way down, you'll see the January 8th show, which is the first one we did this year. And it's about antenna basics and antenna analyzers. This is where we talked about the dipoles we were talking about. And trying to think where that other show was we did about the stealth antennas. But like I said, we're going to do another one and designate it directly to that and show you how you can hide some of the antennas in your house or apartment or whatever and get away with it that way. So, but like I said, I hope to see a lot of people in the chat room over at Twit tonight at live.twit.tv. And we'll be watching, I know it's like, was it 1:30 in the morning here, and 12:30 or 1:30 it starts here in Georgia. So we're going to get in there and watch it, and we're also going to do be in the chat room under my call sign or under HQA Radio, one of the two. But yeah, we really like to see Dr. Kiki's going to be on there, Tom Merritt's going to be on there, and they may have a couple other people checking it out. Don't know who yet, but we'll see. Let me see. One more last look to the chat room here, and we'll see what's going on. Let me see. Yeah, we'll see if we can get anybody to take bets on how big of a divot it takes and puts into Mars. We're probably going to be doing a Google Plus Hangout also while we're watching it. Not probably, most definitely. We'll have one started. So if you're on Google Plus, look out for my invite. It'll be in the stream. And we'll have a Hangout. And we'll do that while we're watching the thing later on tonight. But I like to say thanks for everybody to watch tonight. It was a little bit of a short show. I know we're about 5 minutes or 8 minutes short of what we normally do. We try to do it. We want to do an hour, but it usually ends up about 40 minutes. All right, Bob, I'll make sure I send you an invite directly so you see it. It's not too busy at work. Okay, good. But yeah, it'll be a little later, so we'll do that. Like I said, I'd like to thank everybody that checked into the chat room. I'd like to thank everybody that watched tonight. Like I said, the shows will be recorded and back on the website as of tomorrow morning. We're going to be doing a lot of work on the studio here, especially during the middle of the week. We're going to reach out to a couple people and try to do some Skype testing coming in. So if you've got some time, be great. we'll see if we can get you in on Skype and do a couple screen test and speed test on what the CPU percentage is while I'm doing this streaming. But it seems to be working okay right now with everything we're doing. But like I said, we're going to have a separate machine just for streaming out to Ustream, and we're going to have a separate machine for the chat room that I could type into. So once again, I'd like to thank everybody that checked in. Tune in again next week, and like I said, maybe we'll even have the show next week about the stealth antennas. We'll try to do some research this week and see how much we can do. Maybe we'll talk about stealth antennas and maybe even get somebody on here to talk about it with me. So once again, this is Tom, KB4HQA, for the HQA Radio Sunday Live Show, and this was for August 5th, 2012. Once again, thanks for everybody in here. Any suggestions or comments, send it to info at hqaradio.com. Once again, 73s.